Good morning, guys, and welcome back here to the channel. For all of you out there that are new and are just subscribing to the channel and getting a chance to kind of go through, just like to introduce myself. I am Mike. I am a first-generation farmer along here with my family. Our family has been in the agricultural industry. My grandfather and on both sides, my dad grew up on a farm, all that good stuff, but those guys didn't continue it on, and my wife and I, after years of doing different things, my wife's still a teacher. I was an electrician for 15 years and was just kind of hobby farming on the side, homesteading and all that good stuff, and we just expanded from there to the operation that we have today, by the grace of God, really, with it all. It's very hard to get into this business, especially as a first-generation farmers. And really, at the time that I got in, I've been doing this now for 6 years, a little over 6 years, full-time. Our way in was building poultry houses here on the Eastern Shore, and that was kind of the definite way in, as opposed to it was much harder to actually purchase. We were looking at maybe expanding to 10, 15 acres, maybe a 20-acre piece. And the expenses that went along with it, along with, at the time, banks really not wanting to lend on that, even though we had started to grow a market base and all that good stuff, where we were. It just wasn't, it wasn't enough to really give us that push to get through, to be able to get finance to extend what we were doing at the time. So, so we moved from there into a larger setup here today, and it's just a lot of the things that I did homesteading and just as a small hobby farm and things like that. The good thing about it is I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot of the experience from it, and I've been able to take that and kind of move it over here to what we're doing today. And so, of course, there's more opportunities with all of this as well. It allows me to do more than what I was doing before, because I was working full-time and then coming home and basically getting myself to a point where we had a full-time job on the side as well. So, which happens with many farmers out here. That's unfortunately, it's really how it goes today. In today's time, there's a lot of farmers that work off of the farm as well, and then come back and farm in the evenings or take off for extended periods of time during planting or different things like that. I've worked with guys like that over the years, and so it's tough. But so I just wanted to jump on, introduce myself here this morning. With that, so we do have 6 large commercial poultry houses here, and then we do raise cattle and we raise pork here as well. So the cattle on the pork side, we sell direct market here. So we have an on-farm store that we built that's been in operation now for just a little over 2 years. And it was kind of the final piece of the puzzle when we got over here and started rebuilding and all that good stuff. It took several years just to get the herd of cattle up, and went through that whole experience, and then brought in the pigs and got those, had to get the herd built up for that, before we had something to actually retail. So spent some time doing all that good stuff, and we are, like I say, we're over 2.5 years into it, I guess, now. And we're just kind of traveling by. So we're still upgrading, still changing things, modifying what we want to do. If you have been watching over the course of the grow out for the pigs that we've had back here, we actually had done a deep bedded barn. I had access to the barn. It was pretty much free space at the time, so we wanted to try that just to see what we liked about it, and just to compare what we've been doing as far as having pasture land and just room for them to graze outside. And we'll take a walk over there and we'll just look at what I have. As for right now, though, I figured that we definitely have some subscribers here that have kind of chimed on and looking for different things, looking for ideas. In today's time, a lot of people are actually trying to do more of the homesteading, more providing their own family with food, and I commend everybody for doing it. It is hard, and you're going to learn a lot of lessons with doing it. And truthfully, you could watch a bunch of YouTube videos. There's a lot of guys out here that you can get ideas from, and really that's kind of it. You take that idea, you're gonna have to do something on your farm or your little homestead in order for you to make a mistake, and that's how you're gonna learn. And even not making a mistake, just learning on what you might do that's better than what you've done in the past. So I'm gonna give you guys just a little sneak peek in here and give you some thoughts. I'm in my farrowing barn here. Let me turn you guys around. I'm in my farrowing barn here, which has got it's 8 stalls in here. The stalls on my right side are actually a little smaller. These guys are 8x8 stalls, and then over here, these are 8x12 stalls here. So a little bit bigger on this side. What I'm trying to point out with this really is that if you are a small homesteader and you're looking, you know, for ways to, if you have small property and things like that, and you're looking for a good way to raise pigs, you know, maybe raise a couple pigs a year, maybe one for you and maybe one for your extended family, you could easily do something as far as raising pigs in an area like this. You know, this is actually plenty enough room, and the pigs they'll be just as happy if you're looking for something to provide your family with meat and stuff, and you'll have fun doing it too. I would say 2 would easily fit in here. You might squeeze a third one. You might be cleaning up the stall a little more, but you could easily do 2 in this stall with no problem. And you know, this stall is this whole building here has concrete floors on it. So the one thing that I'm going to say is concrete. There's some benefits to it. Concrete, it's a lot easier to clean up. It just makes cleanup is a lot easier to be able to kind of bring in new bedding, change it out. You know, you can scrape under it with a shovel and not get all dug into the ground. So that aspect of it is really nice. The downfall to it that I see in comparison of growing and raising pigs outside is that on this concrete, we battle flies. I battle flies in here more than I do anything outside. And it's not just that I'm in here and around it. It's, you know, I can look right at the animal and see that, you know, it's just they're not battling flies like we do inside of here. So I don't know whether, and it's probably because that the concrete's going to hold moisture. Moisture draws the flies. The whole mixture of everything is really going to draw the flies either way. So as opposed to being outside where the moisture, you know, they'll have wallows and holes and all that stuff. But for the most part, you know, they're going to be in areas that are just kind of filter themselves. So that would be one downfall that I would say as far as concrete goes. You know, and then you know, so you can kind of make your thing from there. Outside, you know, of course, raising them outside as opposed to having them in a small area, and you know, we'll go over that too with the deep bedded barn over here. It's nice having them kind of confined because it's a lot easier to handle these guys. Having them out on a pasture, you have to build an area where you're feeding them every day, that they're comfortable with, you know, that you can build a whole load out. Right now we're going to be extending our pasture out here because we are taking our pigs out of that deep bedded barn for the new pigs that are coming in for us to raise out. We are going back outside of this barn here, and the only reason being is just we're going to utilize the barn for something else. This was a project that was never really intended to be long term. I did want to see how it was and what we could do with it, and we've reaped a lot of benefit with it by having an area basically where the pigs were that collected the manure and all that good stuff. And now, especially in today's time, man, we couldn't have timed that any better to really do that. So at this point, we need as much manure as we can for fertilizer, because fertilizer is just, it's crazy expensive. It's hard to get. And now being on the Eastern Shore here in Delaware with avian influenza being around here, now we've been restricted. We can't even move our poultry litter anywhere. So boy, it's gotten fun. So anyway, we've gotten that benefit out of it. So we are going to move those guys out of there and go back into that pasture setting. But like I say, the biggest thing about pigs is they're destructive as can be, and you want to just, number one, be ready for that. Be ready that you're going to build something and they're going to tear it up. So that's probably number one. And number two is you have to build that area to be able to catch these guys. You know, you need to have a larger area that you know, just kind of, you know, shrinks down to the point of your loading areas, because loading pigs it's about as much fun as it is doing anything else. So pigs are low to the ground and they're strong. So most of the time you're not winning that battle. And some of the videos you guys have probably seen, you've seen me loading up pigs, and boy, it gets to be fun. So yeah, guys, so that's a little tidbit for me here as far as you guys that are out here watching, that are actually trying to homestead and all that good stuff. I would encourage you to go around, and I've got some videos out there as far as watering and all that good stuff. Listen, guys, I mean, hands down, I promise you, even if it costs you a little bit of money, and it will up front, bury your water lines and get yourself a frost-free type watering situation. We use Ritchie waters here, but there's other waters out on the market that you can use when it comes for pigs and for cattle, horses, if that's, you know, if you're doing something with horses as well. I strongly urge you guys to do that, because battling water, even on a small homestead, even if you've only got 2 animals, I'm telling you, it is a nightmare. It's something you're not going to enjoy that part of raising your own food. You're going to hate it, I'm telling you. So spend the time, put that infrastructure in place. Go on here, you guys can watch some of the videos that I have as far as water goes. We've used it all. I mean, I've started out, like I say, we started out homesteading, so you know, I've got 55-gallon drums with pedal foot waters on it, nipples. You know, we've used troughs. I mean, we've tried it all with, you know, troughs with heaters in them and stuff. And none of that stuff compares to these Ritchie waters, honestly. And like I say, there's many different brands of them. So let's take a walk over here, guys. Let's take a walk over to the deep bedded barn, and I'm going to show you guys here with what we have. All right, guys, so here we are. We are in the barn here that we had put into place for our deep bedding and all that good stuff. And just an analysis of myself of how I think it's worked out. I do like this way of growing out pigs a lot. I do think that this is something that if you are looking to grow and maybe raise some animals on a smaller scale, you could definitely do it. This building is a 50 by 60 barn, and it's open all in the front there. It's open up to the sides. So there's a lot of airflow that comes up in here, and so there's a lot of opportunity here. This is not a closed-in barn. I would highly recommend doing something like this. I like the open barn. You're getting the air, you're getting sunlight coming in. Whoa, somebody's hurt there. So you're getting the sunlight coming in. You know, the pigs are experiencing, you know, more of a natural deal here, being undercover. And you get a lot of benefit out of this too, because, you know, as raising pigs and stuff, you guys know pigs don't sweat. So in the summertime, this thing was really nice because it does provide shade. As the sun kind of gets up and goes away from us here, it shades this area out, you know, for the hottest part of the afternoon, which is really nice. So that is a big benefit, and with that, it keeps them active, and these guys are rooting around and all that good stuff. So it's, you know, it is a benefit to it all. And the other thing is you're not battling the elements of rain coming down all of the time and just making a mess, especially in the wintertime. So I'm definitely going to miss the grow out here in the wintertime for sure, but we're just going to be utilizing this barn here. It was a temporary deal what we wanted to do. So Our pigs are going back outside, but I just figured, you know, there's a lot of things we probably could have done with it as well. And let me show you guys. So you guys can see, like in this area right here that's around here, so there's some straw, there's some hay that's been mixed in here. I also put, it's different color and stuff. I've been dropping topsoil in here, believe it or not, and just for them to be able to root through and grab the mineral and stuff that's in that topsoil like they would be outside. By the time it mixes up with the hay and everything, you know, it gives them something to root for constantly, and they do. So that's one nice thing about this situation, is that this is giving them, it's giving them something to do all day if they want. They can go and root around with this, and like I say, at the end of this grow out, I'm going to end up with a material that I can use for fertilizer, which is a big plus right now. So as opposed to being out on pasture, you know, you're just going to naturally fertilize the pasture that you're on. For us, this is benefiting me because I have pastures and hay ground elsewhere that we can take this to. So that's a big benefit to it all. So again, if you were going to do this, we could probably keep up even more with adding, with actually adding different, with adding more material. So it's just, I could probably continuously do that. There's a couple different pieces of equipment that I'd love to have. We actually looked at a turbo grind that we could put round bales into, grind them up, and then we could have dumped that in here. That would have been ideal, I mean, in all honesty, because we could have done straw, we could have done hay, we could have done corn fodder, and actually pack this in more. You guys can go around if you want, you know, spread out some corn inside of all this so that they're continuously rooting and eating something. You know, and that's we've been dumping some of the beans and stuff we have every now and then. We'll just dump a few over here, and these guys will go ahead and they'll root through. And that's actually what the girl up front's doing right now, is she just kind of rooting through and finding little bits of stuff in here and there. And like I say, you could do that as well, just throughout the whole thing, and it would do very well. With us dumping the dirt, they've been digging at the dirt anyway, so that's kind of what that whole area. I mean, you can tell that whole area over there is just worked all up. So, and in a barn like this, I mean, they've chosen one area, like right here. You guys can see this circle here. They've chose this area. This is where they want to use the bathroom. So they're paying a lot more over here. And so I just keep throwing, which you can see the big bulks. I do throw more straw and stuff over here on that side, and it just keeps building up. I'd say right now that's probably over a foot tall, just judging by the building itself. So it's working out pretty good. So this building, guys, just awesome grow out. You know, you could do this on a small piece of property, honestly. You could build yourself a building and then, you know, give the hogs a certain amount of square feet. I've read things where 13 square feet is something that some of these like organic type situations follow per hog. I've read some stuff up to 20 square feet. I think at the time, I think we were at 22 square foot or something like that, a hog. So, and then as more come out, it was a little bit more for them and stuff. So, and it might have been just a little less as we were putting little guys in and stuff. But I mean, honestly, this thing really has worked out really good. So, and there's definitely a lot of improvements that you can make onto what I did, because, like I say, I know that we're going to get out of here. So I've actually stopped applying straw and hay inside of this bed pack here, just because I want as much nitrogen as I can. I'm going to utilize this fertilizer right now. So I want as much nitrogen as I can get out of this stuff naturally. The hay and the straw tend to break that down a little bit. So that's the intentions. It's been a really good experiment here with this stuff. I would definitely highly recommend doing this if you guys are interested in it. And I would just say do a better job at adding more material. Let it get up, let it build up. you know, and it's going to work out pretty well for you. And again, this would be a good way to make a little extra money in a smaller square footage space. I don't know about every state, but like with our state here, you would only be able to build a barn, especially if you're in a residential area, if you're not able to build an agricultural barn, which for us, I think you got to be over 5 acres or something like that. So so if you're not, you know, so then you kind of build to the square footage of your home. So that could jam some of you guys up if you're looking at doing things, but, you know, in different states might do different things. So, but other words than that, it's, you could take a nice barn like this and you could provide yourself with a little bit of extra income, probably the easiest way possible. Because I tell you, it's, you know, raising pigs out on pasture, you know, it's an obstacle. You know, you're going to see a lot of videos that are just, you know, make everything just look so easy, but the reality of it is if you've not herded pigs yet, if you've not handled them, if you've not loaded pigs, you're going to have fun. I mean, it is just, you watch guys a lot of times, they'll back a trailer up and they'll try to leave the trailer in there for an extended period of time, and sometimes that works pretty well. If you're new to it, what you're going to find is if you mess up generally one time with that, it's probably going to take you a couple of days maybe to get them back, or maybe the next day. But you know, it's just a hurdle. It truly is. And the bigger the space that you have, the more of a hurdle it is. So there's benefits to it for sure, being outside, and I'm not saying that, but there's obstacles to it as being a farmer on that side of it all. So it's just something to think about, guys. And if you're looking to do something like this, just like I showed you in here, you know, if you wanted to raise out a couple pigs and a smaller area, you could definitely do so with no problem. And honestly, I mean, you could clean that out. That could be on a dirt pack as well, or a dirt floor, and you could actually pack that up. You know, you could build a little base layer in there that might give the pigs a little something to play with while they're inside as well. So ton of ways to do it. I do like the deep bedding deal. I just use different carbons, use different material in it, give the pigs something to do. And you'll have benefit of it, like being outside, you know, with where you might not have the benefit of sunlight, which is a big benefit. You're still going to be able to raise something out and provide for your family, and you're going to give the pigs a space that they're going to enjoy. I mean, you know, they like running around and playing and all that good stuff, but I can tell you, pigs sleep for a large part of the day. And especially the bigger they get, the more they're sleeping. So, you know, you want to give them something to do, give them enough to forage around in and all that good stuff, and add hay to it and do all those types of things. But you can definitely make these things like this work on a small scale farm, on a homestead type base. So it's definitely something that can be worked with. All right, guys, we'll see you.